Hello everyone, on this video we are going to build a table view like this. You can delete rows, you can add new ones, and all of this is using UITableDataSource like you can see here. A starting project, we have already here a view controller with a table view. The table view, the style is right detail that has the title and the detail. Then we have here the Swift class with the outlet already connected and the IB action to the button. Then we have the model that is the struct person that conforms to the hashable protocol. Then the person manager with an array of persons with a random age. So let's go to the view controller and create the data structure class, because when you use delegate, use struct, but the diffable data source needs a class. So let's call it person data source, and the superclass is UITableViewDiffableDataSource, and it needs a section and a type. Okay, so first let's put here the UITableViewDiffableDataSource, and then create the section. It's an enum because enums already use the protocol hashable. So let's create here enum section, and that only has one field, but you can have multiple. Because we are not use one section, we are going to call it main. Okay, so we can put here the type section and the person. Like I said before, the person uses the hashable protocol. Create a list of persons that are the persons we are showing at the moment, and as empty array start, but you can load it from a memory or from APA. You can now create an instance of this class and configure. So let's go here to the top and create an variable called data source. Type is person data source, and the method to configure it. In this case, when you are using diffable data source, instead of setting the data source as delegate, you pass the table view to the data source class. Let's do that now. Table view, this one. It also takes a closure where you can set the cell. So this closure takes as parameters the table view, the index path, and the person in this case. So, and it returns table view cell. Here you can set the cell. So let cell equals table view. dot, and now we are using a reusable cell. That's one of the big advantages of TableView. You don't need to be always creating new cells. You can reuse when they are out of view. So let's copy this identifier and create put this in the constant here. So let's call it cell identifier and paste the value. Okay, can copy this and put here, and the index path, the one that is as argument, this one. With this index path we can know what data should be displayed in this cell. So we can use index path dot row to get the person, then change the labels accordingly. So person equals self dot datasource dot, and now we go to the array of persons, person list, and the index is index path dot row. Like this. Now let's change the labels. Person.name, and now the person.age. Okay, we can check the properties of person. So let's go to the Swift file. Person, you can check that name is a string and age an int, and this age is a random value. Okay, so now we can update the list, the array. So, to do that, let's create a method, and as parameter, if should animate change or not. The default is true. Now we need first to create a snapshot, then apply that snapshot to the data source. So let's create now the snapshot. Bar snapshot equals ns default, that this one is actually, and the types the same, section and person. We need to add the sections. In this case I will put all cases. We don't need that because we only have one section, but for future, if you want to add more sections, you should do that like this. Append items to section. No, the items is the array person list, and section is .main. And now we can apply this snapshot to the data source. Okay, let's call this method in view will appear, because we want to update data every time the view appears, not only when it loads. And create a method to add a person. Add person, the name, the parameters only the person. Person to add, the type is person. We don't have a return type. Now we need to append the person to the list and then call the update function we just created. That one. Okay. This method should be called when we press the add button here. But first let's take care of this arrow. We need to add self because we are inside of a closure. Now let's add a person. The data source dot add person and a random one. This is just a demo. If this was a more serious project, you could create input field or something like that, but here just for demo we can use a random person. Missing return type. Okay, we are not returning the cell. Let's do it now. Return cell rebuild. Yeah, that's fine. Let's run it. Okay, and we have an error here. Let's check. Let's okay, we forgot to call configure data source. You can see here that we have a null that basically the data source variable is not set yet. So to correct that, we just need to call the configure data source on view default. Here, let's run again. I hope it's okay now, and it's working. Now we are going to add functionality to delete a person. So let's create the method to implement that logic. Here you can check that it's working the add persons. It's a random one, but now let's delete them. Function delete person. Let's make sure first that we find that person in the array. So as parameter person to delete, and the type is person as well. Okay, now guardlet person index and find the person. If we don't find any, we can return from this method. Person okay, that is the person is the same as we want to delete. If the first index, okay. If we don't find, return. Now we can delete that person, the person in that index. And person index and call the method update. Okay. We have an error here. I think I forgot to put the C. Okay, like this. Now what? Use the method can edit row at, because we need to make sure that the user is able to edit a row, so it appears the option to delete. And the next function we need to override is editing style. So if the editing style is delete, there are more, but we are only use delete now. We need to delete that row. Yes, insert, for example, a none. We need to delete that row. Okay. First, we need to find the person in the next path we want to delete. So to make sure that we have a person in that next path, and so next path, and else return. And now call the method delete person we just created with this person, passing this person. So delete person, and we can test now. I think it should be working, the delete option. So let's run it. Add more persons and to delete. Yes, it's working. Now I will show you how you can set click listness to the items, but we will not implement any logic, so just as demo. So create an extension with controller and use the deleted. This is similar to the way you do it when you are not using default data source. There is just a little change, but I will show you in a moment. So it's this one, UITableView delegate exactly, and here you can override did select row at, same way as in the other data source method, and here to get the information about the cell you clicked, you don't need to use the row. You just call datasource dot item identifier and pass the next path. Let's print it and see the name. Print the name, and if it's empty, just write person is new. Okay, so let's run it and test. Okay, it's working. Let's click, and we will take care of this error after, but let's just check if the click list it's working. No, it okay, I forgot to set the delegate. You need to set the delegate here. Here, when you view the load, you set the delegate. TableView.delegate equals self, because we created the extension. Now it should be working. Let's add and click, it's working. We need now to take care of this warning, this one here. Okay, this happens because when the table view is first created, we are animating, and there is no change to be made. So we only need to place false here, animate difference files. Now let's check. Add some persons, and yeah, it's working. No warning errors. So I think we are finished here. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe and press the like button if you like this video, and see you in the next one.